But 2 weeks ago, there were unconscious minds there with spears, with arrows. 6 people died. I mean, that is unconscious behavior gone berserk. And every human being is capable of that. We all have our personal moments of anger, of manufactured drama, and all it causes is pain. And when we're in pain, we put that pain out to others. So my message tonight is one of healing, but most of all, it's experiential.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to begin if you are.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is make you an admin as well.
Okay.
Just if anything goes wrong on my end. A co-host. Here we go.
Yes. I do these things in a meditative state.
Yeah.
So I tend to be more inside than outside competent, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm more mindful of what I'm doing than I am of this. So if suddenly everything goes blank, I'm not gone.
Yeah.
You've got me for as long as New Zealand would like me. I'm dying to come back, Justine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So anyway, if we're ready, then we'll begin. If you would like to say something or whatever you need to do.
Yeah. So just what we'll do at the start is just get you to introduce yourself and just say a few things about how you got into it and what you do, and then we'll go on to what you're going to talk about.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening in whenever you do. I appreciate you being here, and thank you, Justine. We have many memories in New Zealand, and I can't wait to return. I'm Joanna Cameron. I've been involved in hypnosis for over 20 years. Spiritually, I knew when I was a child that in some form I was a healer. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew it. I was a fairy. I was a pixie. I was a spiritual kid, and I still feel like a spiritual kid. It's gotten better for me over the last 4 years. I am the founder of Drainthepain, which I'm proud to say I've taught in New Zealand. Thank you, Justine. I've taught all over the world, and it's an amazing process. But having watched lots of people and having understood that and made a movie and written a book and worked a lot with pain, I've had a new understanding of what awakening is, because I've watched people who get out of pain awaken. And the question for me was, do you have to go through huge trauma? Does it have to be a near-death experience? What is it how do people awaken? When you do it, you know what it feels like. And is there anyone here, Andrew, is there anyone here who would actually like to tell me that they feel they're waking up or they are already woke? Anyone? Well, first of all, let me say that the fact that you are here shows to me that, hi, Richard, shows to me that you're interested, that you are in fact already doing it. So the intention is that you want to awaken, right? You want to be free of the chatter of the mind. Now, obviously, there's things in the mind that we need to know. I mean, the intelligent mind. But then there's the other mind, isn't there? The self-talk. Then there's the self-deprecating thing, which I hope you don't have. Then there is the personal story that you make about. So your ego is always creating dramas to make your story even more grand, because that's the function of the ego. The ego and the mind go hand in hand. The ego is only interested in the past and in the future. The future are dramas that it might make you worry, it might make you anxious, it might make you many things. But one thing, it doesn't make you happy. So presence of mind meditation, which we will do today, is a meditation to take you within, and I'm going to do it very simply because I want you all to teach this. So you have to teach it. You have to realize that you can take people into presence of mind without saying you're a hypnotist or without being a hypnotist. After I've taken you in there, I will then make the feeling greater by opening up the heart doors and the chakras. But I'm not going to do that first. Does that make sense? Because we don't really have any magic powers ever as a healer, as a hypnotist. We can aid people to go inside, but it's not by the function of hypnosis. I don't want people to think this is a hypnotic experience. Otherwise, you know what they'll say? Oh, I don't do that. I don't do that woo-woo stuff. No, hypnosis, you know what I mean? You have another barrier to go over. So I'm going to take you into awareness, and then I'm going to bring you out so you've seen it without hypnosis. And then I will take you deeper. And if you like, we can go over the Rainbow Bridge, if you like. Just saying. Just saying. But the most important thing is you are all here because at some level you have set intention. Is that correct? At some level, you want to hear what I have to say. That you don't need to live in personal pain anymore. You can be peaceful. Oh, and by the way, once you're in this state, you can create anything you want in life because you are connected to your source. And when you're connected to your source, you don't have any resistance. In other words, you are aligned perfectly. And when you're aligned, whatever you want, the Porsche, the house in the country, the relationship, finances, whatever it is available to you. So this is a very good reason to awaken, don't you think? You know, to increase your peacefulness. Because what happens is when you awaken, everybody around you does. That's so simple. People get happier. It's because you're happy, your light. Remember, we are first and foremost light workers. Your light is your presence behind your body. It's the light behind of you that shines through. It is the light. So, and that is your vibration. And when you're at a very high vibe, you, first of all, it's all about feeling. You feel fantastic. So that's another reason to do this. We're going to feel fantastic. So without any more blah, blah, I am going to ask you now just to sit for a moment and to observe where you are. I'm in the launch pad of my house. This is a view normally, but it's dark right now. But I'm in the launch pad and I can see white walls. I've got a skylight here, windows. This is minimal furniture, but it's mostly space. Now concentrate on the space because that's who you are. It's the awareness. So you can do this with your eyes open or closed. I'm going to close my eyes. So now just breathe in and breathe out. Relax and breathe in. And now allow. Let go of any thoughts right now. Pretend you are a container and those thoughts are just being drained. So drain them out, empty out, empty out, empty out your story, empty out your to-do list for the day, empty out what's going on, empty out anything. And as you empty out, be aware, and allow. And feel that stillness come in. But it's not a hypnotic stillness. It's the most aware stillness. And that's really what this is. It's aware, alert stillness. You feel fantastic. Take it deeper. And as you take it deeper, notice your awareness expands and your consciousness expands, but not your mind. Now, you may have thoughts coming right now. Ignore them. Empty out, empty out, empty out. Go to a place of no judgment, of no thought. of no reaction. You just accept what is. Accept what is. And if there's something that's really screaming at you, say, I accept you. I accept you. And when you say, I accept you, what you've done is surrendered. You've surrendered to that moment. And when you surrender to the moment, you just accept it. Your awareness opens. And that allowance opens. And you feel your vibration rise. Feel it. Feel it now in your body. You see, when the ego mind is really active, that's all you're thinking about is that train of thought. And most people are in that train of thought all day long, every day, 90%. You can't even speak to them. They're in their train of thought. So, but when allowance comes in, when you feel this state and feel it, the stillness, and maybe you now feel tingling in your fingertips and warmth in the palms of your hands, and you're in your body. So breathe in again, breathe. And breathe out. And focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathe out. And feel the stillness. So if you feel the stillness, would you like to wave at the computer right now? Wave, just wave. Do you feel the stillness? All right, now I'm going to ask you about that stillness. And just take these questions into heart. Is this a stillness that has a beginning or an end? Is this yourself? Because when you've drained everything out else, what are you left with? Is this peaceful? Will this manipulate you? Will this tell you what to do? Will this lie to you or betray you? No. This is always. This is pure consciousness. Align with this and stay aligned with it is the secret to everyday life. To see it through yourself, because this is you. I am. It is the isness. It is the well-being. This is you, a human being, rather than a human doing. The mind wants you to act, do. A human has to have a balance between being and doing. So now, as you accept this and you sit back, just allow yourself, as you sit back, to come up briefly so we can experience this. I want you to go there easily and not just have gone there, but to be able just to go there by yourself and feel this. Because maybe as a hypnotist, you felt it in a different way. But this has become now the subject of what I teach. I want people to feel the state. I've felt the state. I've seen what being in this state can do. I've felt that huge exhilaration of peacefulness in a pandemic. And so I'm going to count up, and of course you weren't hypnotized, but coming up now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did that feel? Any feedback? Who would like to give me some feedback? We're going to do this again. Can someone manage the, thank you.
I can tell you about my experience. It was it was amazing. As soon as you said to get rid of everything, I can't remember the exact words that you said.
I use empty out, and I want you to use the same name. I don't have your name on the screen. So
it's Nicola.
Oh, sorry, yes.
There was something else you said as well, and as soon as you said that, I was it was when you asked questions if there was a start or an end, and then it was just vast, just space.
Yes, well, we're going back down there, and maybe you'd like to go over the Rainbow Bridge with me. Okay. So who else might like to go over the Rainbow Bridge? I mean, if we're going to awaken, let's awaken, right? Many people feel with awakening, and you've heard about near-death experiences. It's when someone Maybe they've just heard they have a few months to live. Maybe it's right before they're about to die, right? And suddenly, in that moment, they awaken. So in the moment of great stress, they suddenly surrender. They accept it. And when they accept it, peacefulness arrives. You see, Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within. Now, 2,000 years ago, I mean, the kingdom probably meant the dimension. You can imagine that. And early people, they looked at the sky. Indigenous people, they looked at the sky. They filled their bellies with grain. They looked after their basic needs. And then they said, what's next? The sky. There was no drive-in movie theaters, nothing else to entertain them. There no 7-Eleven, no, I'm trying to think of the New Zealand equivalent. You can't go to Woolworths, right? So anyway, what happened is heaven became the same word as sky. And that's how I want you to look at this, is spaciousness. Because when you see the space, you've given the attention, and it is the space that is the awareness, and it is the space that allows us as light workers to transmute negative emotions, which we're going to do this evening. Does that make sense to you? Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go do this again? All right, this time I'm going to do some chakra work. The first time I did this, because many people might look at this video, and I want to explain the reasoning in it, because it's the same thing as if you were in my class. But the first time I took you down simply with empty out. I use minimal language. Wouldn't you say that is correct? But most important, I grounded you in the beginning by having you be aware of your surroundings. That's the initial grounding. Does everybody get it? Yeah. So this time we're grounded, but we're going to go in and ground now in a more, let's put it this way, I'm going to do some chakra work this time around. Okay, ready for that? Is that okay? All right, so just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And I want you to breathe. Just breathe in. And just breathe out. And feel that nourishing breath. And this time, breathe in. And feel that breath come in. And feel how good that feels. I want you to imagine now, wherever you're sitting or standing, that you are so connected to the earth, because we all are. Even though I'm on the 3rd floor here, I can imagine that my feet have roots going down to a jade pearl in the middle of the earth. Mother Earth, love, protection, comfort. Remember, you are always grounded. You are always loved. So let's bring the love of Mother Earth in from that jade, beautiful jade, that color green, coming up now and coming in through the soles of your feet, coming in through your ankles, coming in through your calves, through your hips, healing all of your body, and coming up through your torso, massaging your power, and now coming out into your heart. And now breathe in. And breathe out and open your heart. Feel those doors open like great big doors. The doors of St. John the Divine Cathedral, which opens its doors every year for a beautiful ceremony for the animals. And they actually have elephants walk into that cathedral in New York. It's the most amazing sight. And that's how I see the doors open. St. John the Divine, because this is divine. This is your heart. And it is your heart, isn't it? It is your heart that contains your soul, or the Merkaba, it's called. But this field of energy, because it's all energy that we're talking right now, all energy. But say to yourself, I can feel this in my body. Is it real? So that if I can feel it when we go over the rainbow bridge, it is real. I can feel my heart doors open, But most of all now, I can feel my cells being bathed in love, pure love, divine love from Mother Earth itself. And wait, let's just catapult that up, because let's bring a divine waterfall through the crown chakra. And this is the divine waterfall of Drainthepain. And see those beautiful rainbows of light, the white light, the blue light of transmutation, the yellow light of Christ. Feel that God light fill your head and open up your pineal gland in the middle of your forehead. Feel it now as you're filling with light. And your heart doors are open. And right now, every cell in your body is smiling because it knows you are the boss and you are aligned and you have just given your cells the most incredible love message. They are totally immune. They are totally cooperating with the source, you. They feel fabulous. They are buzzing and they are dancing, baby. Everything is just brimming in your body. Now, if you were my client, I might give you a couple of minutes right now in this state to play the daydream of your life. What is it that you want? Play the movie. Put it on a great big screen. What is it you see yourself doing? What is it that will fill your soul? Because you know what happens when people wake up. They absolutely know, have a sense of their purpose. They may not have all of it, but they have a sense of it. They know they are absolutely connected to their divinity, that they are the universe themselves, and they are compassion. Compassion is so important. It is the transmutation of the energies. It occurs through compassion, because in that space where awareness arises, and feel it now again in your body, feel it, feel your body tingle. I feel this in my hands. I feel this in my fingertips. Do you see, a person cannot go into their mind when you keep them in their body, but they also need to listen to what you're saying. So you need a bit of both. You need the metaphor, but you also need to feel these feelings, and that's what the metaphors are for. So feel that love now and sit in this beautiful soup of sacred divinity. And you know what else is really cool? Is we are all connected together. I'm on the opposite side of the world. I am 18 hours behind you. And yet we, in time, whatever that is, because it wouldn't matter when you listen to this, you would always be in time. But the message is the same. Feel it. Feel the gratitude come up inside you. Feel that compassion arise as you feel that still awareness, that buzzing. It's so good. I am. The self. The self is not your conditioned mind. It is not the self-talk. It's this. This is the creative space. This is where grace comes from. This is where wisdom comes from. This is where creation comes from. This is where the kingdom of heaven is. This is what Buddha called the no self. What does no self mean? It means actually, he also said you have to deny yourself. But deny yourself means in this context, deny the conditioned mind. That is your upbringing, that is your karma, that is your story, that is your personal history. Deny it. It doesn't matter. Let it go. And you may notice as you let it go, I feel a dripping from my fingers when I do this. just to drain that pain metaphor, but that's the metaphor I feel. I feel it dripping out because my awareness rises and I feel peaceful, just peaceful. Because in this state, the pain body just can't come up. It's gone. And you may notice that your personality is gone too. It doesn't matter. The to-do list, none of that matters. It's gone. Empty out, empty out. The thought comes up, go into your body, feel this in your body. And remember to bring this to your waking state. So now we feel good. And I want you to set intention, and it doesn't matter whether you do this today or another day. It may take 10 years. It may not happen today. There's always this video, there's always other videos. There's always other healers. But I invite you to take this one step further. Because you feel now the support of your angels. I've invited them all in. I'm sure you all have. But bring in your angels. Bring in your guides. Because they are going to be there with hands outstretched on the other side. And remember, when you're in this state, to talk to your body. It's the most powerful thing that you can do. I am healthy. I am grateful. This is affirmation time. I am so happy that I can be in this sacred moment. I plan on meditating every day to achieve this moment again. I plan on taking this space into my everyday life. I cannot wait to watch my ego fully subside. No judgment. And you'll find that you just accept. Whatever happens, any moment, just accept it. If you don't accept it, it's going to keep knocking on your door and the mind is going to drive you mad with it. So from now on, accept what happens. Good, bad, accept. Accept and allow. So now, I want you to imagine there's a chasm. And then there's a bridge. It's a beautiful day. You're feeling really good. And you can do this now or later. But know now in this coherent state that you're not just connected to this energy, you're connected to all of that beautiful energy in New Zealand right now, connected all over the world and beyond, because we're not of this world. I came from the stars. So did you. That's why we have 23 chromosomes and not 24. But guess what? The world is shifting. And the energy coming in after the succession of the equinoxes in 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar, we made it. But we're shifting. We're shifting to a new vibration, and this is it. And the mystery is that it was already inside you. You know, it's like the story of the beggar, and he begged for many years. 60 years he sat on his little three-legged stool, which had a strange box on the top of it, but he loved it. He sat on it, didn't really know where it came from. And he was asked one day, he said, somebody asked him, what's in the box on your stool? And he said, I don't know, it's just a box. So he stood up and he looked in the box. And it was filled with gold. And he couldn't believe it. Of course, gold never tarnished. He looked down at all this gorgeous gold. And he said, I never knew it was there. It's the same with the fifth dimension. It's within you. You've just never known it's there. You already have it. You just have to accept and allow it and it is non-linear. It will not communicate with you in a linear fashion, which means number one, number two, number three, you know, everything organized in a 3D fashion. What it will do is communicate through this gland, the pineal gland, so that you will know intuitively, because you spend most of your days connected to your source, whether you're in conversation or not. You have a level of connection that you are aware intuitively. And this can happen. You can have various parts of your life where you suddenly have, wow, that happens really good, and then something else happens, and you can retreat more into unconsciousness, as I would call it. In other words, the egoic mind comes back. And I made a movie, Drainthepain, and I'd never made a movie in my life, but I had a dream. And I found everything happened miraculously, and it was just the most amazing experience. And that's what happens when you're truly in the flow. So I've had portions of my life which have really flowed, but to put it together like every day. But during the pandemic, I've spent time exploring this. And I've studied Eckhart Tolle. I can mention other names that I've studied. But this would Drainthepain, I believe, is the total deal. It's all you need to know. You can study anything else along the way, all these different techniques, there are masses of them. But this enables you to jump all over the moon, because guess what? When you're in this state and you practice it, you are totally well. You don't have any health problems. And you probably live 20 or 30 years longer. You have to take your head out of time. Remember, time and mind go together. There is only the present. There is only the present. We have a past because we have the ability to observe. The ability to observe is the greatest ability that we have. The greatest intention that we have is loving intention. The greatest ability, it is the ability to observe. When you can observe that you're not in your right mind, you will now stop. You'll observe it, you'll go, that's the ego. I'm not listening to that. It doesn't make me peaceful. No, you'll say, empty out, I'm not going there. Every 17 seconds you get a new thought. If you're in a stream of thought, maybe it's an angry, but every 17 seconds, it's like you can't turn it off, but you can turn it off with this technique. So now you've built confidence. Remember, there's a bridge. And it's a chasm. And you're going to walk over it on any kind of bridge that you create in your mind. And every time you do this, you'll find the mind creates something different. And in the middle of the bridge is kind of a soup. It's the fog. So come with me. Come closer. Let's go. Step down. Intend. Accept. 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 Feel the love coming in now from the fog as you walk into that. And you can just make out hands coming out of the fog, and they're reaching out to you. Are you ready? As I said, if this is real to you, then move forward. If it's not, then just go back in your body, because one day it will be. So just step forward and feel the hands, feel the angels scoop you up, feel yourself like a love puddle. What you really feel is the oneness. You feel it in every pore of your body, in every atom. That just, ooh, it's that feeling in your spine when you just know It's almost like a Kundalini moment, which is it's a movement that happens in your body without conscious control. It's just like maybe a shake off of energy. Happens to me occasionally, and it's just a different way of letting go of trapped energy in the body, which is all emotional and physical pain are. It is simply trapped energy in the body. So as you feel that divine waterfall now, and as you go further across the bridge, it's beautiful. And there is music like you've never heard before, and angels. And you may see people you know from your past who've passed over. They've transcended their another form. They come to you. Some of them apologize. They weep. They wash your feet. But most of all, you feel this amazing sense of just love. Every pore of your body is filled with it. And you just are content to be peaceful. And take this moment now for just a couple of minutes of your own meditation. And if you'd bring us up, Justine, in just a few minutes. But just play the movie. Play the daydream of what you want in your life. And when you meditate, do this, because you see you're going to be able to create everything you want with non-resistant thought. That's powerful. And loving intention. Gratitude. Compassion and forgiveness of self. Feel that compassion. You are worthy. You were born with a purpose. And maybe you have feelings about that now. Maybe you're a teacher like me. I hope you teach this. It's the best thing you can teach, both for yourself and for others. So, do we have any feedback? I'm sorry to wake you up, but not totally. You can just stay in this feeling of presence. You can open your eyes and still feel that stillness, because this is what you need to do in regular life. With your heart open now, you are coming from a place of presence. And it will change people's reaction to you. It will change your behavior and theirs. It's simply, we are vibrational beings. And when you live in this state, you live in a very high vibration state. So the world will change around you. Kind of cool. How are we doing? Any questions? How was that for you? I could, of course, give you a post-hypnotic suggestion that whenever you put your head on the pillow and your intention is sleep, you will always be the world's best sleeper and wake up at the time that you want to wake up, which is the nicest gift you can give to your clients. I say that to every client. I say it here now, because as you come back, but feel that presence in your body. Do you feel the warmth? What do you feel? Anybody want to talk to me?
Vibration.
Vibration? Anybody have any experiences to talk about? Nicola? Hold on, I need to.
I'm here. Yeah, mine was really, really cool. Just complete peace, just nothing. And then I went to a place that was all white and saw ancestors and just, yeah. And then I turned into like a star, like I suppose like just drifting like a light more than anything. Yeah, just through it. My body wasn't there. I was just a spark, like a little spark ghost type of thing.
It sounds incredibly cool, and it is incredibly cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. But everything was white. I don't know if it was like ice or snow, but it was just like there was like a lake and people stood around. Yeah.
So will you do this again?
Yes, I would.
Right. Will you do it again? I think you need to do it every day.
Yeah.
Because you have to become a human being rather than a human doing.
Yeah.
The more we do that, more we feel this. Go out in the woods. It absolutely, you can get really into that energy, and at least I can in a forest. That's my place. Many people, it's the sea, but you have it all. I've been in the redwoods in New Zealand. It's fantastic. So in Auckland, in fact. So you need to take this out and do it, because then the more present you come in your life, the happier you are. And the ego just dissolves, because the ego, when there's no time and no mind and you're present, it has nowhere to go. But it's also very tricky. It's going to try and make dramas in your life, and you have to be able to observe it. As soon as you observe, and you know that because you feel a negative emotion. If you feel a negative emotion, then you're not aligned. So it is the ability to say, I'm not going to wait for the next thought. I'm going to take care of this. Because then, you know how it is when you get into it. I mean, it can be going on for several days, several months, several years, a lifetime. So the truth is to be so mindful in your present life. Whatever you're looking at, I got this pen, so I could really look at this pen from a sense of presence. And there's a space when I can see there's a gap, and that's that awareness. And it becomes more alive. But I don't label it. I don't go into the conscious mind. I just allow myself to be. And that is the outcome is very peaceful. I'd like to tell you I've had a very peaceful pandemic, because this is what I've studied. I'm writing an ebook on it. And whether I write, whatever I write, whether it's a movie, it's all going to be about awakening. Because as I said, if you awaken, all the other health problems go away. That's what a near-death experience is. People with a dreadful chronic disease will suddenly awaken and go, wow. Or they'll be on their deathbed and they'll awaken and go, oh shit, I really liked it on the other side. And all their relatives are around. But they can describe it. And they're going to give descriptions much like you did, Nicola. They're going to give descriptions just like that. So that is the other side. And the more you can bathe yourself in it, the more you realize that there is nothing to fear. That's what's on the other side. And when you take no fear into life, it just everything is transmuted and transcends. This transmutes, this changes it into something else. Thank you so much. Anybody else like to share anything that happened? Is there anybody that nothing happened? Shirley, what about your experience? Would you like to tell me? I'll unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah, okay.
For me, it was just going into like a big vacant space of light, you know, sort of like resting in a void of light. Yeah.
And how did you feel?
Just calm and peaceful and nothing, you know, the nothing, you know, nothingness is, and nothingness, everything is perfect as it is.
The nothingness is really good, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, this is something that is new, but which I actually haven't done for the last, I've never said, you know, drain out, nothing, no thought, don't judge, no reaction, just accept, allow. But this has produced very powerful results, and with clients.
Mm.
So will you do the same now with your client, Shirley? Will you use it? I want you to. I don't teach anything. I don't have any ownership of anything.
No, that's okay. I will in the future, because I haven't done my course yet.
Oh, you haven't done your course? Good. You got to learn with Justine. She's fabulous.
Yes. Yes, I'm booked in to go and see Justine in March.
Well, you'll be all woke doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you're in a very good place. Sounds great. Anybody else want to like to? What's happening with you, Desiree?
It just brought back what I used to do as a child and get scolded for.
Well,
in class and anywhere, I'd just like be in this space of nothingness, and yeah, got beaten out of me.
Well, it didn't get beaten out of you, and what we're doing is very delicately lowering you back into it, so in a very peaceful fashion, because you know, this is the answer. This is the shift. The shift is surrender. When you surrender and say yes to life, everything expands. But when you say no, you contract. Do you get the feeling when you say no that you feel small? When you say no, when you're not involved, no, I can't do this right now. I'm procrastinating. I'm bored. I'm all of these things. No. Then you are contracting. But when you say yes, that is the shift. It's saying yes. But here's the point. You surrender one moment at a time. So surrender doesn't mean you're surrendering to me for life, or you're not surrendering to me for anything, but you are surrendering in that moment. You are accepting the moment. That's it. You are just aware that that moment is, and you accept it, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Because whether you like it or not, I mean, life does bring you challenges, and that's the way to look at them, is challenges. There's always challenges. I don't care how woke you are, but there's always another level to go to. So the idea is to treat them all the same. Even, you know, Buddha said this feeling of no self, which you've experienced today, that is your Buddha nature. So maybe that's what I should call this teaching, your Buddha nature. Experience your Buddha nature. Anybody else want to chat with me? Anybody else have any physical pain? I say, anybody have any physical pain? By the way, this dissolves pain in the same way. I've been dissolving pain, but this is an added way of doing it, which you see now, Justine. This is a little different, isn't it? We still drain it because we can drain the inflammation, But now we're going inside it, accepting it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a change. It's the other, I've discovered the other thing we need to do. So it makes it that much better.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? It's 2:22 a.m. here.
Can you drain nausea and the side effects of chemotherapy?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Is this for a client?
This is for a friend.
Yeah, okay. Yes, well, absolutely you can do that. Yes, this is a very good thing to do with that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. And there's nothing, I mean, once you've been present, and you can bring that state up, I think everything, health-wise, everything it just gets right. But the challenge is to stay there. So, you know, you never want to be waiting for the next moment. If you're waiting for the next moment, you have resistance to the moment that you're in.
Yes.
So I don't care if you're in a supermarket, if you're in any place where you're waiting, you know what I mean? You're shopping, right? You're in a line or queue, as we say in England. But if you're in a queue, go into this state. Because the ego can jump in, and, you know, the ego has lots of things about waiting, you know, that's time and mind, and it can drive you mad. So you must use the technique when you're in situations that you have time during your everyday life. Just look around you and really become aware of your presence and what's around you. And the doors of hope, heaven will open, and your life will be better when you do these things. I do know that. Any questions? Justine, any questions?
No questions, but it was amazing. And I did
Great.
quite a lot of it with my eyes open and closed, and it didn't
So
change.
you could feel it too. You could do that. And that's terrific. So yes, do this every day. Don't get out of bed until you are aligned. That's the rule. Don't get out of bed going, I've got this huge lift, blah, blah. Get out of the blah, blahs doing this and get excited. And I assure you, life feels a lot. You've all been out of the pandemic for a while. We're still in masks and everything here. It's very difficult in Virginia. But, you know, and never allow yourself to complain. Complaining is absolutely the ego. You know, I just did a little one there. But, you know, don't allow yourself to go to those places. Just say, empty out, empty out. Any thought, think about it like a computer. You don't have to log in, do you? Just don't engage. No. Sometimes I go, no. Oh, don't want that. Empty out. And when you're feeling really good, enjoy the energy, daydream, and see your clients in that state. If you can just sit in this state in presence, people get well in front of you. You don't even hardly have to speak.
Yep.
People just feel your presence. And that's how we, as light workers, heal people, really. It's enough just to be woke. So your responsibility then is to get into this state before you see every client. Because the state alone is going to help people to heal. Yes.
Hi.
Is this Lynn Marie?
No, it's Lynn Marie there. I'm Jenny.
Okay, lovely. I'm honored that you stopped in.
Thank you. I just want to ask, what was the word, when we first shut our eyes and started going inside, what were you saying? What was the term you used?
Empty out.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I wanted to
It's like I say, imagine that your body is a container and those are your thoughts. Now empty out, let go,
amazing.
Allow, accept.
It was amazing.
It's 3 A words, really: allow, accept, awareness. 4 A words, and attention. But people need to know that this is something that's already inside them. Everybody has this inside them, because that's yourself. But most people have no idea that that's what your self is. They think the self is the mind. So this is really like a re-education. I'll give you some names of people that I listen to on YouTube and read their books. Eckhart Tolle, Eckhart Tolle. Mooji, Sri Mooji is Mooji. If you type in Mooji, you will come up, and he does similar meditations. He's fantastic. So listen to all of these people. Deepak Chopra, really good. Yeah. So, and listen to me. I have masses of meditations and Drainthepain meditations, and listen to me. I'm Joanna Cameron. I'm the trance lady on YouTube, where I have an enormous channel which has all kinds of hypnotic techniques on it, which I've taught all over the world. So I've been a comedy hypnotist. I've done many things. I've been on both Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent. So I've done many things over my hypnosis career. Before that, I was a tour operator. I ran student tours for 40 years. So I've had a busy time. Any other questions?
I just have to say that we're honoured that you've spent time with us, Demetria, us little group down in New Zealand. So thank you. It's been amazing.
I love New Zealand. I'm in love with New Zealand. My spirit soars when I go there. So I've made 3 trips, and I've been to Rotorua.
Hello.
That's where you live, Rotorua. I loved it. I hiked the parks there and all the geysers, and I absolutely was fascinated with it. I'd like to return at some time and fish the salmon and the trout when they come in. I'd love to do that.
Did you meet Justine when you were there?
I was in Australia in March of 20 and New Zealand in March of 2020, and I was the last one out. One of the last ones out. I got on the last plane. Air New Zealand, by the time I got to Hypnobiz, right, because I came to New Zealand first, by the time I got to Hypnobiz, Air New Zealand was not taking passengers anymore, but they put me on Qantas, but I didn't know that till I got to the airport. I couldn't get a hold of anybody, but it was like a dream come true, because, I did manage to get home. So
I'll share a funny Joanna Cameron story. At Hypnobiz, she was one of the people being hypnotized for a stage show, and the guy hypnotized Joanna that she was like taking the hypnotist show. So she actually went up and hypnotized the guy that was actually running the show. He was out cold and took over the show, and it was so funny.
It was fun, wasn't it? I don't know, it was totally unplanned. It was totally like, I don't know where that came from, but
it was brilliant.
I had a really good time, because that's what I did for years, was stage hypnosis. But yeah, in these particular techniques, what I'm doing now, I don't know that I really stress the hypnosis. I don't want to have to explain all that. So that's why I did it the first time through, just to refresh you. I think you should just do empty out with breathing. Ground the person in the room they're in. Use that as a grounding, but do the empty out with breathing. And then take them back in and do the heart chakra. I mean, some people get nervous when I say that's God within. That's my belief. But you know what I'm saying? That can cross over boundaries and things, but it is God within. This is your soul that you're talking to, and that's why you feel so good. And that's why your attention is here, and that's why you're alert and still now, and you feel good. How are you doing, Caroline, Hampshire? I'm from Hampshire, England. There's a synchronicity for you. Would love to hear from you, Caroline.
I'm actually from England originally. Yeah. So yes, I'm doing really good. I love that. I'm still in a daze. That really was very good.
Well, it's not just, you can do this every day, and you need to do it every day, because as soon as you're worrying, that ain't working. Worry and anxiety, no. You can't worry and do this at the same time. That's another thing that you really need to tell your clients. When you're in your body and you're really feeling, I feel this in my body, I feel my fingertips and my palms, and you can do all of that, but you must put people in their body, because then they can't be in their head.
Yeah.
They can't be having all of that. In other words, it's a battle between you and their conditioned mind, and you have to win. And the way you win is to do this a lot, to do it throughout your day. So we haven't heard from Mia. Are you there, Mia? We haven't heard from Persis. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. That was really great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very peaceful.
Good. Any other questions?
Can we do it
Well,
next week?
I'd say.
Can we do it next week as well?
Yeah.
Well, Justine, I'll come back anytime. Yeah.
I think
I'll
it's a
come
very
back
poignant time to do this right now. I think a lot of people can be in their heads, and it's an unsafe place to be on your own, isn't it? And
Well, I talked about the collective unconscious, and the truth is we've had that here in Washington. I mean, we had 6 people die 2 weeks ago, and that is when madness, the collective unconscious, totally unconscious. I mean, you can have one person who's gone slightly mad, but they can find another one, you know, on the internet, on social media, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got violence. But this can happen in our own dramas too, you know, this can happen in everyday life as well. So this is a technique that I want you to teach and use. And join me on YouTube.
Sorry, Joanna, can I also ask, obviously you'll probably use this with children. Do you alter any of the words or anything with kids?
I think kids love this. They think it's really cool. Yeah. And I think you can do it very, very young. And I think it should be taught in schools.
Same.
So yeah, I do this in schools with kids and teenagers. I haven't been able to do much of late because of pandemics and no school and every other damn thing, but I can't wait to take this into our local schools.
Yeah, it'd be lovely to hear their stories as well.
Yeah, it is. But you know, they love it because they feel good. And some kids are brought up that it's not necessarily good to feel good.
Yeah.
And so allowing to say, this is your natural state, this is how you need to be.
Yeah, and I think as well, them just being still and feeling and sort of sitting with that and like acknowledging what that feels like, because they're always wanting to do something or to be told what to do or to ask for something. It's just constant for them just to sit in themselves and just
But they can play in themselves, just as Justine said. You can bring that stillness. You can have the kids do this, but then do something with their hands at the same time, or be sitting or even playing. But you don't want them necessarily, you want them still to be in their bodies as well. So I normally would want, I think I'd want them to be quiet. And I think I would, with kids, I would introduce silence as well.
Yeah.
Because true silence, which is when you're in yourself, is so perfect. It's that deadening silence of nothing's happening, you know, in a pandemic that people don't like. But this is a very different silence. So I would do the silence as well.
Yeah.
And then they will all tell you about their feelings. It's just fabulous. They will all put their hands up. Yeah, me, I want to tell you how good it was. So anyway, thank you, Justine. This has been lovely. Thank you. I'd love to be back any time. And I will be teaching, and maybe Justine will do it with me, but do an event on spiritual awakening. Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds really good.
A paid event, not a huge amount. I'm doing a 2-day event here, and I'm charging $95, but it's 2 full days with 3 speakers, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, that sounds
something like that. Yeah.
No, I just add to this. I think with the with COVID, that hopefully there's a new awakening that life cannot go back to how it was. You know, that's, you know, we've cleared pollution and things, and I just really hope
Well,
that people can we've been disconnected from life and from people, and I'm hoping that this will, you know,
oh, well, I think it is what's happening. I think the pandemic, the shift in consciousness is happening anyway. I don't think as a nation we will survive, because with this new energy, the inventions that come in would be weaponized. You see, unless human nature, what happens is with the shift is human nature is getting better. People are not going to go to war. You understand? We're not going to want to fight each other. Our kids are not going to want to fight each other. You know what I mean? All of that stuff is going to stop. People are going to
carry
cooperate.
on the way we all have been carrying on. We're just going to keep going down, aren't we? And
well, I think
we've got to awaken from it.
We have to awaken, and I think that was the function of the pandemic.
I think so too.
So that was my function. This is what I've studied, and I've loved it. So I'm now teaching it, and Justine and I will set dates for a conference.
Sounds good.
Sound good? All right. We'll look forward to seeing you all then. And you can come back.
Thank you, Justine, for arranging this.
Yay.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank Justine. And you'll really enjoy her teaching. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye now. Yeah.